Welcome to ABG, Asian Boss Girl, a podcast for the modern day Asian American woman. My name is Helen.
I'm Janet.
And it's Mel. Welcome back to the podcast. In episode 35, we talked about the New York Times article, their 36 questions to fall in love. And those questions, well, they were kind of safe. Today, we're going to kick it up a notch and go deep.
Deeper. Yes.
So if you guys haven't listened to episode 35, we would recommend you guys to go back and take a listen. For those of you that have, let's continue on. We are looking at set 2 from the New York Times article. Should I just start?
Yeah.
All right. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
Honestly, I feel like a very generic answer is that you don't want to know, because then it's like you don't want the picture of your future to dictate your decisions that you're going to make today.
Yeah.
Like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. Like if you know that you're going to be this person, or like you want to try and get out of, like I see myself homeless, I'm like, how do I get out of that? Like I need to, like, you know,
fear of, like,
and then all I'm going to be is like money hungry or power hungry or whatever it is, to make sure I'm not that ending up like that. I think I just want to know. This goes back to my very morbid thought of if I'm going to be alive later on in the future. It's like, I kind of want a glimpse of just like what I look like. Like, how's my skin going to change? Like, how am I going to wrinkle? What am I going to look like as an old lady?
Yeah.
But like, that's probably the extent of it.
What about you, Mel?
I would probably keep the question a little bit more broad. Like, maybe one question would be like, am I going to be happy?
But then if you find out that you're not, then what are you going to do?
You know, it's weird. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think overall...
So you already know. You're like, I already know I'm going to be happy.
Or like, I don't want to ask who am I going to get married to. I'm going to ask, will I be married and will I have children?
Yeah.
You want just like a very broad, not specific.
Yeah, because in that way, it's like, okay, yes or no.
That's true.
Then it's like, okay, if she said yes to both, I'm like, okay, I don't know how many.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of husband I'll have, like whatever, or when I'll get married, but I know in the end I'll be there.
I think that's in line with what you were saying earlier about like, you just feel like you're not right now doing anything to sort of like build those types of relationships, and that's, I guess, somewhat of a concern in your mind. Like, is that actually going to happen? So
like a reassurance type of thing.
Reassurance, peace of mind.
Yeah.
How about you, Janet?
I would want to know their perspective on what my greatest personal strength is and like what will be my greatest legacy. Like in the line of not being too specific, but broad enough where it can be more inspiring. Right? I'm a person that believes in the duality of like that there is like a predestination, but that you also have like free will. So it's a combination, right? I don't want someone to tell me about my future and then it's like the thing, would you then like try to fix it, or would you then actually make it happen? So just a little bit of guidance, but more for inspiration.
I see. More of like I know that I'm gonna be this, and like so I can be it, so I can start taking those steps and being a little bit more confident in every step that I take towards it.
I like how Janet says, "Can you please tell me my greatest strength?" And then you know like a good positive strong thing about you that's specific, and you could use that to your own benefit. Like, here's your power, harness it in the way you think you should.
I do think that even though we're in our 30s or reaching our 30s, it's like we should be in a place where we're so much more confident in our abilities and what we can do and what we're supposed to be doing. But I think for all three of us, it's kind of just like we have a sense, but we don't know. Like that could totally change in the future. So just having a little bit more of like reassurance that what we're doing right now is the right steps
like,
towards
are you
whatever
in
that
somewhat
is.
of a right? Even if you talk to people who are like much older, 50 or 60, I think there's this like expectation or illusion that being an adult means that you know exactly who you are and what exactly you want. And I think it's just human to never 100% know.
Yeah, no,
and to always
I think I was listening to like an NPR podcast with Guy
Raz,
and he had a guest that said like it wasn't until the age of like 60 that I knew what I was supposed to be doing.
Oh wow.
Like I know why I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. But like my purpose of life is got a long way to go, ladies.
All right, next question. Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it?
I would love to organize all of my photos on my phone and start a blog post with them.
Oh yeah, you talked about that. Yeah.
I would love to run a marathon. Why haven't I done it? Time. I think also I want to write a story, or like, I don't know if it's a book. Maybe it's a book that I can call mine also. And that's something that I think is much more long-term. I haven't started it, but I think that's always something that I've wanted to do.
What kind of book? Like an autobiography or?
No, just like a story. Just a story that I've imagined for my own mind that, I've taken influence from like other things, but it's something that I've completely just created by myself that other people can resonate with.
I think for me, I've thought more seriously about getting a couple of tattoos or like one or more tattoos, but I haven't done it because, like, I don't know, there's something about the permanence that does kind of scare me a little bit. This probably ties in psychologically to like commitment issues or something.
What would you want to get?
So Oh, what is oh shit, the fact that I don't remember.
You really want this?
Yeah, right?
This is the one thing you want?
So the phrase, this too shall pass. I don't know why that's kind of resonating.
I like it.
Also,
nice.
positive change. I don't know why this is like when I was going through a lot of, I guess, life changes in my 20s, a positive symbol, and then, delta in math is like, it means change. Like the symbol, and it means...
Delta means change. Delta. In Mac?
In mathematics.
Oh, in math,
the symbol
yeah.
of a delta, or whatever from it's change. So like positive change was something that I played around with a lot, but I couldn't quite settle on like the proper representation.
Yeah.
So
you want a triangle on your body.
Yeah. a plus sign and a triangle. I also thought about plus sign and negative, like positive and negative, and balance, and doing like a positive on one side of your body and
That
a
sounds
negative
cool.
on another.
Whoa.
Or also like
It'd be like a magnet.
or doing something on the bottom
Positive,
of your
negative.
foot, because your foot represents what you stand on.
Oh.
So like a statement or something that is like of that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I saw recently? Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. Did you see their tattoo?
They have match tattoos?
So cute. It
Oh,
says,
what is
so Chrissy's says John, Miles, and Luna. And then John says Chrissy, Miles, and Luna.
Wow.
Isn't that cute? And it's like written in a way where it's like that very small writing that's kind of stretched out. So it seems like it's just a line, but then you can read it.
It's actual words.
Yeah. Super aesthetic. And I feel like you would like that a lot, actually.
That's really cute.
What about you, Miss Melody?
The thing that pops into my head is to do a K-pop video.
We know.
I feel like I'm getting older and like the K-pop scene is getting younger. But like I did grow up watching this. It's a way to let loose and have fun with your friends and not taking it too seriously.
This is your year, Mel. We'll do it this year.
We'll do it? Okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be something like really thought out. Just like, here's a dance cover or something. That is something I dreamed about doing. Haven't done it because... Well, we haven't had time to like learn a dance or like find out a song or whatever to do. That's the only thing that comes to my mind.
You really want to do this?
I know.
We thought it was just like a fun side thing, but like the one thing you want to accomplish in life right now.
Okay, another thing I've been thinking about lately. This could be just a millennial me, or just I've been really lazy. I wish I could just quit my job and like not because I don't like my job, but just in general, like, and just travel for a year, or like just travel, because I remember when I graduated college, a lot of my friends are going, taking a year off. I'm like, why? You gotta get a job, get your foot out in the door.
Yeah.
I did travel for my jobs before, but just take a year off to not think about anything and have no stress and just literally explore and get to know people and like get lost in a city. It just sounds really amazing.
I would say that it is amazing, but there's so many things that come with it that you don't think about. It's always so like fantastical when you see like Instagram stories of people traveling and just relaxing all the time. At the same time, the other side of it is like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what is the purpose of this?
Maybe like a month to do it or something.
Or
like
I
a
think
time.
nowadays, especially with like all these companies doing like flexible work arrangements, and a lot of people are doing retirement as it should be done, more temporarily and more spaced out throughout life, rather than just waiting for the end of your life pretty much to then retire and do that stuff and travel.
Doing like multiple sabbaticals, essentially. Just chunks of time that you take off and then come back to work.
Or even like just weekends, taking an extra Friday off.
Yeah, but for me, I want at least a month, because I think weekends, like, the thought is, oh shit, Monday's coming. Like, I have to go to work.
Right. Yeah, it's
I don't
not so
wanna
much
think
about rest. It's about changing your environment and really shifting the mindset. Yeah.
Like, for me, it's more like just not have to worry about something. You know what I mean?
And here we are in Dana Point right now in this beautiful hotel. This is a destination spot. We're here, Mel.
I know.
Your dream come true.
Hello. Okay, so the next question is, what is the greatest accomplishment of your life? That shit is deep. I kind of wrote one down when I was like thinking about this. I don't know if it's more of a greatest accomplishment in my life. It's more like a moment I felt so, like, my dreams came true. The one I put down was when I got the Wong Fu internship when I was 23 or 22.
That's huge, yeah.
When you're young, you dream big, and you think that your dream is the only dream in your mind at that moment, right? Because I think as you get older, once you get the dream, you're like, now what's next? But when you're younger, there's no sense of what's next. You just have this one thing you want. And I remember it being a channel that I grew up watching and looking up to and kind of idolizing, and getting that moment when someone says, you have the internship, you got it.
Yeah.
I remember like walking into the office and being so, oh my God, I saw this on the video, or I saw this, and here's like Bill and Wes and like all these things. I just kind of felt like this is so surreal. Like, this is how it feels like when someone's dreams come true. And it's just like that moment, I can't replicate that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen every day.
It doesn't. And I don't think it happens a lot in your lifetime. And so that's a moment that I'll always remember as something like accomplishment that I've always wanted to get. And so I think as we continue to grow and do other things in our life, I'm really thankful for all the other accomplishments that are coming, but there's something so pure and innocent about that moment that I always remember.
I like that. When I think back, one of the biggest moments is probably knowing that I had like a bigger purpose than the comforts of my home and my family and like close friends provided for me back in Boston, to be able to take that step to just like leave home. To me, that didn't seem like a big deal before, but then a lot of people were like, how did you do that? Like, that's crazy that you just moved cross country and you like didn't really know anyone else in California. But there was always a part of me that knew that I wanted to do more than what it was, just too comfortable. So I needed to get out of there. I would say that's one. And I think secondly, just in terms of like career and job wise, sometimes I think about like how I just am able to pay for myself.
Yeah.
And that's such a good feeling to have, especially when growing up in very just like modest accommodations and going through like a public school system, not really having anyone to help out, to be able to like drive like a convertible now, and it's like I can pay for that for myself. I think that to me is, sure, it's like monetary, but at the same time I think it serves as
You're
like,
self-sufficient.
you did something right.
Self-sufficiency is an amazing thing.
Yeah. How about you, Janet?
I would say the state of my relationships with like my family relationships and close friendships, I actually feel like are really significant accomplishments. And to the point about like kind of realizing like what is your purpose in life, knowing that maybe for me, like one of my greatest legacies might be however I touch the lives of those who are closest to me, I guess the thing that, what is what is your greatest accomplishment in your life? I think it would be the relationships that I have. And then maybe as a secondary thing, because we're all kind of doing secondary, out of college, going to having an interest and then pursuing it, going to Kenya and then moving to New York City. Those are two things in my life that I felt like I really like kind of jumped off a cliff. I feel proud that I tried those things or that I took action, I guess.
You didn't crash, you flew.
Yeah. I feel like I did crash. But what I tell people, I think, is like there's an amazing freedom in feeling like you failed. Right? Because there's no actual definition of failure. It's always your own personal interpretation.
That's true.
And so when I feel like I have really failed multiple times in my life, but having done that and come out the other side, it makes you actually gain a greater sense of self-confidence.
That's actually something that I try to think about. Anytime I feel like I'm failing, it's like, this is good. Helen, this is good. Like, you're like sweating, your armpits are wet right now. Like, you're about to cry. You're like literally about to break down right now, but this is good for you.
Yeah.
It's like what you said, the tattoo, this too shall pass. I think about that actually all the time.
Yeah. Nothing is permanent.
Yeah.
That's true. The nothing is permanent thing.
Yeah. You ladies are very accomplished peoples, and I'm very proud to be your friends.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You are too.
I think I love
know.
y'all a little bit more now.
I feel like
it's working. It's working.
I heard it's twerking.
It's twerking. It's twerking and working.
All right, ladies. Number 17. I skipped number 16. What do you value most in a friendship?
We say that in like a friendship episode.
If you would like to know, refer to our friendship episode. All right. What is your most treasured memory? Oh, there's like so many.
I know, right? I wrote 3. The first one I wrote is the Asia trip I went on with Helen and a couple of friends back in 2016. I think it felt like camp because it was 3 of my different friend groups coming together, and then everyone just got along so well. It felt like we were running around just having a blast, and like everyone was on the same page. Everyone like was feeling the hype of the trip, and exploring new countries together was like, that's probably my best trip, like hands down.
Yeah, same here, Mel. That's a very, very good memory.
And I think it's like we always think about like, can we repeat that? We can't, because like it was everyone's first time meeting each other, and like we were all in different spaces in our lives that it just happened to work out. That trip was like unbelievable. I did vlog it. It's on my. I actually have a YouTube channel that I vlogged.
If you like to reference the trip, Mel, what's your handle, Mel?
I don't even know my handle.
Oh man,
like Melody Chang or something. You just look it up. I don't know. The second thing is when my brother got into UCLA.
Oh yeah,
that was like a really special moment because my brother texted me first that he got in, and UCLA was his dream school. He got into Berkeley. Like, he's a smart kid, my little brother. Good, humble kid. And he got into UCLA, and I was like, oh my God. He called me, and I was like, let's call mom. I want to be there when mom finds out. And so we called my mom, and when he told my mom, she like freaked out. So that was like a precious moment because like It's like my little brother, it's his dream school, and all three of us were there in that moment. So that was really special. The last thing I put down was our New York meetup.
Wow, these are all, dang, Mel, I'm in 2 of your 3 most treasured memories.
I guess you're a treasure. You're a gem. LA was great, don't get me wrong, but New York, since it's our first, it was just like very a new and surreal feeling because we had no idea what to expect. And the fact that literally we're just us three together experiencing this, nothing was really planned. And to see women come together to want to have a conversation with us, and like the biggest takeaway was that we felt we were building a community. We felt that like they were getting along with each other was like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? This feels like incredible. And like I think to feel like people resonate with what we're saying, it meant a lot to us. Those are my little threes. How about you guys?
I would say those 2 also. The 2 that you mentioned. One is your brother getting to use.
That was a great moment for Ellen.
Great moment for me too. Treasured memory. Yeah, for sure. Asia trip is just like, timing for sure. Timing of, we were in our like late 20s, or I was in my late 20s, and we were all like single, and we were just like, it's such a blast. It was a great time. Definitely travel with friends when you're younger, I guess, before kids, if you can, when you can. Another memory that I thought of was like, I played volleyball in high school, and I think we were going for like state champions, and it was my team, which is like mostly Asian girls that were like short and just like kind of scrappy, and we're playing against this school called Brookline High School. Tall ass girls, like a lot of non-Asians. It's just, we like showed up and the gym was like packed with people, so loud that we couldn't even hear each other in our huddles. So it was like a really intense game, and we're like, okay, we're definitely not gonna win. Came out winning that game, best game of our lives. And it was just like that moment of being the underdogs and defeating this like big ass team because we're able to pick up all of their hard hits because they're little and scrappy. It was just like,
that sounds
such
really
a great
cool.
moment.
Yeah.
Like literally we couldn't hear each other because everyone was screaming and cheering so loud. Such a good moment.
That sounds, wow.
High school, I definitely peaked. And then and then another one that I just remember is like just when my boyfriend came to visit me in Europe, and we were traveling all around Spain, just like not having a care in the world other than just to explore and see things. And I feel like we're also very aligned with like things that we're interested in. So when we were in, I think it was Valencia, we landed upon this like science museum place, but the outside of it, the architecture was so beautiful that we literally spent the whole afternoon just like riding our bikes around it and like staring at everything.
That sounds amazing.
And that was maybe, that was a very treasured memory too. Oh, one last one, when my sister had her baby.
Oh, of course. Which
my
one?
gosh. The first one. But I wasn't there for the second one,
right,
but the
right,
first one, like seeing all of that happen and then just seeing the family come together. Very cool moment. How about you, Janet?
I guess if we're all doing multiples, I would say.
Sorry, Mel started it.
Sorry, I talked about it really quickly, hopefully.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think Melly mentioning the New York meetup, I do think in terms of the world of the podcast, that was an incredibly meaningful memory for me. I just remember you physically feel like touched and, okay, that sounded dirty. But
I mean, but they are touching us, like hugging.
Hugging and like.
But it was very
Janet's
moving.
like, all action, I'm getting it.
It was great action. I'll take that over a date any day. That was a treasured memory. Also, this year when you guys surprised me for my birthday, that was like a really like walking into that restaurant and seeing everyone was really, really moving. So that's a treasure. And then third, I will throw it way back. I don't know why I was trying to think about memories I've had with my family. When I was in grade school, my mom, my sister, and my dad and I would go up from Orange County to like the LA area almost every weekend to have like dinner with their families. So that was a lot of hours spent in the car together. And we would go through like so many different like tapes of Chinese songs, and we learned like, I think I was in Chinese school for like a little bit, and we learned like Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, or like different songs, just all of those hours spent in a car in a small space with my family, and all the different conversations and games we would play. Like that's just something that flashed in. Yeah, as a treasure.
Being in a car is a very memorable memory for me too with my family. So the next question is, what is your most terrible memory?
That is a hard
That is
one.
harsh.
Yeah.
I have mine. My most terrible memory was when I was in community college and I found out my grandma had cancer. It was terminal cancer. It was really tough because like my grandma was someone that like, I think just being old, you always think something's like wrong or like, oh, my stomach hurts or something happens. And like my grandma and my grandpa are the type of people who always say something's wrong. Or my grandma was. She's like, I'm going to die, blah, blah. And me and my mom would be like, you always say that. We still love her, of course. So she went to the hospital, and then, because usually when she goes to hospital, like the doctor would give her a pill and it'll be fine. But this time we found out, because I remember my mom distinctly that it happened, and she came out of her room and mom started crying. She's like, Grandma has pancreatic cancer. She's stage 3. And I remember all of us were like, what is going on? I think I was like 20 when I found out. I didn't believe it because I think cancer is something that it's really sad and unfortunate. People around you affected by it, but when you are directly hit by it, it's really tough. Oh, man. It was really hard because I think everyone in my family knows. Like, my grandma, like, my most loved person in my life. Like, I'm the firstborn in my family, and, like, everyone knew I was, like, her favorite. And I was her favorite, and, like, she was my favorite family member. The moment that was really hard was when she was in the hospital, and I haven't talked to her since we found out she had cancer. And I remember, like, my stepdad was on the phone with her saying, like, are you okay? And he motioned to hand over the phone to me. And I was like, no, don't give me the phone. Because I knew I was going to break down. And, like, my grandma's the type that I don't like to cry in front of. Yeah. And she's not the type to cry either. And I knew in Taiwan when she was in the hospital, like, all her sisters were there. And so my stepdad handed me the phone. And when I got the phone, I just started, like, crying. Because, like, I didn't know how to react. And then on the other end, like, my grandma just started crying. And it was, like, really tough for me because she's, like, my grandma's a really hard person. Like, she's not the type to break down. And so I was just so sad in that moment. And then she was just crying. She's like, don't do this. Like, I'm going to cry too. Like, don't make this hard on both of us. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And I think that initial moment of finding out and talking to her about it was really tough. Man, fuck, I didn't expect to cry. Like, but it was hard because I think love is a really hard word for me because, like, I don't know how to place it sometimes, but I could say, like, I truly, like, I loved my grandma. She's, like, one of the best people in my life. And so I think that moment was really hard. But then when she went through her treatment for cancer, like, we all went back to Taiwan. It was okay. We made the experience more positive for her because we didn't want her to be sad. So, like, me and my mom would, like, make jokes and, like, joke around with her in the hospital. So, like, I think that was fine. But that moment was, like, extremely tough for me to handle. Like, that phone call. Yeah. Fuck. Okay, that was my terrible memory. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to cry.
No, don't apologize.
I feel like I haven't talked about this in a very long time. It's been, like, I think almost, like, 8 years since she's passed.
These are memories it's a treasured memory because you think about it's something that is very important in your life, but it's very triggering too because it brings you back to that place.
It's crazy because, like, I didn't expect to have this moment right now. It really just brings me back to the exact moment. And, like, the reason people see me wearing my jade bracelet, it's not because, like, I'm trying to brace my Asianness and, like, it's, like, a cool accessory. It's, like, the bracelet I wear every single day is my grandma's jade bracelet. And I've been wearing it ever since I found out she had cancer. So, like, I keep that really close to my heart. So, like, that's part of me now. So that was my terrible memory. God, I feel like this is gonna be a little cry fest now. Fuck. Helen, your turn.
Thanks for sharing that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go so deep.
No,
don't apologize.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Man. Oh God. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad.
You should not.
Why do you feel bad?
Yeah, I actually find that incredibly admirable that you're opening up about that. Yeah.
It's just really unexpected. Damn, this episode is so many unexpected things. All right, your turn. Thanks for listening.
Of course.
Are you guys scared to talk now?
Yeah.
You guys don't have to make it serious. I think it's just like, you guys literally, like, this moment, like, I feel like I was, like, brought back.
Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah.
I have one moment that for sure is not as... I had something kind of similar with, like, my grandpa.
Yeah.
But I'll pick another one. Dying grandparents are the worst.
But that's the thing. I don't know about you guys, but, like, my sensitive topic is always old people.
Yeah.
It makes me feel really sad.
Just everything about it is just, like, the life that they lived and what they've been able to provide for, like, your parents. And then, like, they saw you come out of your parents. Like, they have so much insight and knowledge. And it's just, like, when old people are, like, ready to go, it's just, like, dang, that's a whole lot of memories in your head. That's, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know about your family, but, for example, like, my mom and my grandma's relation was different, but I feel like grandparents to their grandchildren, they're so loving. I bet your grandparents are so loving to you and whatnot. There's so much, like, deeperness to that and a different type of dynamic where you just fall more in love with your grandparents sometimes. Like, they're the ones not disciplining you, they're the ones loving you with everything, you know? If you want to talk about your story, you're more than welcome to.
I'll talk about a different one. One moment I remember from middle school, I was not a good kid at all. Like, I would actually skip school. It comes with, like, the environment too. So we grew up in the city of Boston, so a lot of public schools that are really not great. Like, teachers wouldn't be teaching and they would just make us, like, file in a straight line and try to be like discipline us, but like what is the purpose of that? Like we're not learning anything. And we did that because there were a lot of kids that would just act out, right? So it's like they're just forcing us to learn how to be disciplined. In any case, I think I hung out with a lot of bad kids then. So it was environment, it was friends, and I would skip school. This is so stupid, but I would like go to the back of my school. There was like a little forest there. My friends and I would go back there and we would find dry leaves, roll it up and smoke it.
What?
I know, isn't that the stupidest
How'd you guys
thing?
make fire? Or like,
We would have like matches or something.
So you smoke leaves? Like, what does that
Yeah,
do?
I don't know. Okay. Like we thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And then got caught many times like stealing, and it'd be like kind of like little things just from like Walmart or CVS or whatever it is, stealing like gum or magazines or you know, and like my parents would have to come and get me from there. So I was not a good kid. And my sister, she was a good kid, first child too. I think she was like looking after her turbulent younger sister.
Yeah.
And she's always just like, what the hell's wrong with you, Helen? Like just what are you doing? Like that's so dumb. And then there was this one moment where I was passing by the kitchen and the kitchen door was like a little bit peeped open, and I saw my mom just like, so in our kitchen we have 3 like Buddhas, or not Buddhas, but like 3 figurines, like godly kind of figurines.
Yeah.
We're not religious, but it's there. And she was like praying to the figurines, and I heard her say out loud too, and she was crying. Her face was like super red, and she was just like praying for a better daughter. And I was like, holy shit. Like that moment that I saw, I think literally changed my life. Literally changed my life.
Your mom?
A lot of my friends from that middle school have kids now. One is like not alive. Like growing up in that kind of space, it's actually very difficult, I think, for kids who don't have the resources to help them out of it either. So I think that moment literally changed my life. It was the most terrible moment, but also the best moment that could have happened for me. And then after that, I just closed the door and I walked away. I don't think she ever knew that literally changed my life. But yeah.
dang.
Ugh. Dang it, why am I crying?
Like you don't expect it. It happens.
I think it's just like their moment. Like it's always your mom praying to the Buddha, right?
Yeah.
When you see someone like your parent that you look up to and you want to like,
That
as
you
kids,
cause
we
them
kind of
pain
do.
or
We don't mean to cause them pain,
Right.
but you see
Yeah.
them kind of suffering.
Right.
Like, please, just give me something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like to replace you almost, right? Like why am I such a bad person that she has to pray for someone better? Can
Yeah.
you even imagine having a daughter?
Yeah.
And like you've done so much to get her to where she is now, and try as much as you can to get her to a good school, and you can't do it sometimes. And it's just like you're not able to give enough to her.
Yeah.
So that's what I saw, and that's what I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like I need to turn my life around.
I think
Ugh.
it's-
Wow. How
No.
old were you?
I was in middle school. I was like in 8th grade.
I feel like when you talk about your parents, like I feel like the way you talk about them, like I haven't talked to them like face to face, but I could just imagine the work they work so fucking hard. You know what I mean? And they could tell, like, even when your parents immigrated here, like the time they spent apart to like get to start a life for for a family. So I could imagine like why you felt so like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
what's going on?
I'm like dreading the day I have kids, because
Yeah.
kids act out and they don't appreciate anything, right? That's given to them at that point. So
And that's when you show them this episode.
yeah.
You know what mom went through?
Sorry, ladies.
No.
I'm like also not a good crier, so my voice cracks up. So this is not good for a podcast.
No, that was a really good.
Yeah.
That's super. Yeah.
Fight my way through that. All right. Sorry, Janet, you're the last one.
All right, Janet's turn.
I was drawing a blank. I think, okay, one thing that did kind of pop into my head is, I think we all have siblings, right? And so my sister and I are close now, but we're only like 2.5 years apart in age. So there were lots of periods when we were growing up where we fought really, really badly. I have one particular memory where, because sometimes we would get physical, and she's younger than me and I'm the older sister, and I remember one time that I got so angry at her that it was like a small Fisher Price plastic chair, but I threw the chair at her. I remember feeling like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
it was a moment where like I was not in control of my anger, that I harmed someone else. That was something that was like a terrible memory, I guess, for me. And then kind of as a second, there was a time where we were at my grandma's house and I was sitting on a stool, and the bottom, it was those like steel stools, and the bottom is supposed to have a rubber cap, and the rubber cap had fallen off or whatever. So it was like a steel tube essentially. And my sister was behind me and I didn't know. And I backed up the chair and her toe got caught underneath it. Oh shit. And because she was in such pain, her face just like, she started crying, but no one knew what was happening. So I was like, still sitting on the stool, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So it's like delayed a couple of seconds, and then we looked down, and I realized that like I had like stubbed her toe with the steel thing, but it had like gotten like it was like bleeding. Oh my god. Yeah, but it's like I have terrible memories where if I cause incredible pain to someone without and especially it's like your younger sister, someone you're supposed to like protect and stuff. So
How old were you when this happened?
like elementary school maybe, like very young. But I remember feeling just like that because she was like crying. She's in physical pain, and there were like grandparents and like aunts and uncles, and my mom was like trying to like help her foot and everything, and I just like, you feel helpless, like you caused this thing and you can't do anything to fix it, and it's supposed to be someone you're like protecting and stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
Did you ever tell your sister, like, you ever apologize to her for that?
I think I was probably apologizing profusely when it happened, but then, and I can talk about this without getting super emotional because it's like, she was fine now. And it's okay. But I just, in those moments, you feel so, it's like there's a pain in not being able to help someone that you love, and then also knowing that you cause that pain. And for the first example, it was just like losing your temper. Like that scares me now, I think. Maybe that's why I have like a weird thing with like emotions, I guess. I don't know, like I don't like feeling like that I could hurt someone.
That makes sense though, the pain thing.
The
guilt is so heavy.
That is true. I think guilt is one of the most horrible emotions to experience. I hate experiencing guilt.
Oh man,
are there any positive questions?
Oh no. Okay, actually number 19. Okay, it says, if you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly,
that's so fun, so uplifting,
would you change anything about the way you are living now? Why?
Well, this relates back to my last answer though. If I knew I was gonna die suddenly in a year, I would use the rest of the money to like blow on travel and spending time with family and friends. Like I wouldn't work anymore. Because I want to enjoy the rest of my life, and that's it. But I can't do that because I need money and have a job.
Now that's a good spin to focus on. It's like you don't have to worry about resources in a year. If you have enough money right now to like float you for a year, then that like biggest kind of like basic necessity is taken care of. I feel like I would just spend time with friends and family, but I don't know, that seems,
I think that's, for us, like relationships are a big thing in our lives, as you can probably tell from all of these, up to question number 17 now that you love us. But it's like that is important to us, and when we're at work we don't have that time. So it's really like getting that time to spend with family and friends, and whether that's traveling, whether that's expanding your mind in that way, that's different from how you're living right now. Like I would blow all my money on traveling too if it didn't matter. But like with friends and family,
of course.
If there's any companies out there that want to sponsor us, hit us up.
All right, we're gonna do one more question just to end this episode. Alternate sharing something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. Share a total of 5 items.
I have one for each of you that I admire very much about each of you. This is so like, oh my gosh, I love you guys. Okay. Mel, you have this confidence in yourself that I think is very difficult for a lot of people to have. And you might not even feel that way, but you do. In a way where it's like you are able to express yourself very unapologetically. And you are able to get vulnerable too with a lot of things, which I think is actually very difficult for people. To you, you might be like, yeah, duh, like who can't? But like that is a quality that I think it's very difficult for people to actually achieve.
Damn, Helen, I love you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That. I think it's hard because like I think being vulnerable is something I enjoy doing. I don't know, but I can see what you're saying. Is like it feels so innate to me. Like it's part of like it's like another limb. You know what I mean? It feels like it's part of me. That's why.
Right. And so sometimes you don't recognize your good qualities until someone points it out to you. Right. Like we can always recognize our negative qualities easily, but then your good qualities, you're just like, yeah, that's just who I am. But it's like, that's very unique and special to you.
Thank you.
And then for Janet, I feel like one of the things that I really admire is how well you're able to compartmentalize certain feelings and express it in a way that is like incredibly easy to just understand and to relate to. Like that's a difficult thing for me to be, because when I feel, I'm just like, like my mind's like mumbled jumbled. But then I feel like you can do it in a way where it's like, this is exactly what it is without all of these other variables in mind, and this is how to address, especially going back to like you being able to talk to people and being able to like sensitize with people, right? Like you're able to help others because you know how to think clearly and very straight. And I think that's for both of you guys. I was like, I wish I had a little bit of that. I wish I had a little bit of that. But I'm glad you two have it, so I can just relish in it.
So I'd say for Mel, I think we've had a couple of conversations about this, that your vulnerability and your ability to feel emotion is actually a huge strength. It takes a lot of courage to be sensitive and open. And I think sometimes society tells you that it's a sign of weakness, right? That if you start feeling something too strong or too immediately. But I think it's an incredible strength. And also because specifically being of like Asian culture, like we talk about in our families, expressing emotion is not very common. I do struggle with like expressing or like feeling okay with being more affectionate. The fact that it comes so naturally for you is, I think, really admirable and a huge strength.
Thanks, Janet.
And then for Helen, I would say, I mean, I think we talk about this a lot in joking, but like, I seriously don't understand how much energy you have. Like the fact that you don't need any sleep, like when you come to our meetings, I am tired. And sometimes I feel like I burn out within like 10, 15 minutes. And you haven't slept in like 3 days and you're still like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And you're still able to like, I'm like, I'm already asleep.
No, for sure.
Because it's not quite militant, but it takes a certain amount of like, it's like perseverance. Yeah, it's like, it's a combination of strength, perseverance, and...
Her attitude's really good too.
And good attitude.
Yeah.
And it's not like a fake, like, yes, let's be happy and we can get through this. But it's like a measured, stable... Actually, for both of you ladies, when we're in meetings, there's so many times where I feel like I've kind of lost, like if I was at the wheel, like I'm tired, I need a nap, but always without guarantee one of you will pick it up, and I feel like I trust, like I know we're gonna be okay. You know, like I know that we'll get everything that needs to be done. You're both really good at like when you need to, you're like, what is it needs to get done, and then we can do it 1, 2, 3. And then Mel, sometimes you come in and you're like, okay, so what are we getting done today? And like there's something about that, like that feminine strength, because it's not a forceful aggressive
It's more like we got you.
Like,
we got your back.
Hey Helen, for you, like you have a real positivity. You both have it too, but it's a different type of optimism.
Mine comes from the fact that I think I'm going to die. So
Actually,
now you know that.
Really insightful to know, because it is at the core being like not an optimism is not really the right term, but being a positive person. That no matter what happens, like you will find a way to like find the happy aspect of something and to uplift.
There's actually a quote from Michelle's book, first name basis, Michelle Obama's book on becoming, that I wrote down because I was like, this is so true. Because I remember I used to like question myself, am I just like blindly optimistic? So the quote is, there's a difference between blind optimism and the intentional kind that comes with deep truth. I love that. Because I used to always wonder, like, am I just being blindly optimistic? But I think I am more actively optimistic, or I choose to be.
You're not really fluffy. Does that make sense? Or?
It's because I think you see what like truly matters, right? Because like things that it's like, that's a small thing that seems like it's the world right now, but at the very, very end of the day, at the end of your life, like what really matters. So it's a focus on the most important things.
Thanks, Janet.
I actually had one more from Mel. I was going to say, I know you're the youngest in our group. I might have already said this to you before for a birthday message or something. Maybe there's multiple moments where I've seen the way you interact with your brother, of being, I was like, wow, you are such a good older sister. Oh, it's like you cooked him like Thanksgiving meal or something. The way that you act as an older sibling, I think is so awesome. Your brother is very lucky. So.
Thank you. My brother's just, he's someone like I always just talk on and on about good things about, and I feel like I'm really blessed to have like really good younger sibling to take care of. The nurturing skills, so like cooking, it comes from my mom. Like that's something very that I learned early on from my family. So thank you for noticing that. Damn, it's really hard for me to pinpoint a lot of things for both you guys. For Janet, like I think one thing that really clearly comes to mind, I think the fact that you are the oldest of us three and I'm the youngest, I do see you as an older sister. Like I think even there's moments where like I feel like I just blurt out what the fuck is going on in my head, and like directly I message Janet. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Because I think I just don't know how to handle certain things. And I just ask you for help. And like, there's a one moment that I remember distinctly. It was, I think I messaged both you guys, but I think Helen was probably, I don't know, in the restroom or doing work. But then I think Janet responded. It was when I was going through a really bad fight with my ex-boyfriend at the time. And it was like, he said something really hurtful to me. I was in shock. I didn't know how to handle it. And I cried Janet, and I just cried. She was like, it's okay. Cry. Do what you want. Like, she like made me feel empowered to cry and vent. And I felt very like, I think in moments of really, like, not despair, but when I'm really sad or something's going on, you're always there to catch me. You know what I mean? I think it's because you're very level-headed. In a way you go about things. Like, you're very like, all right, it's okay, we're fine, we're gonna do this. I could always rely on you. I think that's a quality you have. You're really dependable at the end of the day. Like, I know shit's not gonna fail because your hands are on it. You know what I mean? I think we see that a lot with ABG, like the website, ShipStation. Like, since your first hands on it, me and Helen had this like confidence that we're fine. Like, it's always that like we were always reassured with you.
Yeah.
And I think I feel that with work and like my personal relationship with you. So yeah, it's for Janet.
Smell so sweet.
Yeah. For Helen, it's like, it's a difficult thing for me. My number one thing, you encompass so many things that I admire. And I feel like you're someone that like a lot of women and myself wish to be you. In a weird way. It's like a one quality that I always looked up to in women, or like in role models, or like people in my life. It's like, I'm not saying you have everything, but you could handle a full plate. You do it with charisma and poise and like all these things you handle. I think deep down you really are like, you're emotionally and like you're so beautiful within. Like, I know this sounds so cliche, but like I never seen you lose your temper. I mean, no, actually. Wait, actually,
That one time I cried.
no, but like I think you're such a good friend. Like, you always have my back. Like, you lose your temper to protect us.
Yeah.
And
the only time
it's-
I've seen you get really angry
is if someone
out of
crosses, like,
protection.
you're like, don't fucking touch Janet, or like, don't do things like that. But in situations with me, I feel bad because I do think there are moments within ABG that it gets frustrating. The fact that I show my emotion the most, I get the most moody. But you two have never blown up or any of that stuff. And I think with you, especially Helen, you always are like, no, you're always really good about handling things. And like, I don't know, I think I really admire that about you. To see you handle work when it's so fucking stressful and not break, that says so much about your character.
being able to see at the end of the day what really matters.
Yeah. When Janet said there's a positivity to you, that's very different. I feel it too, because I think for me, it's like, I think me and you get along so well because we're really playful, and I think you bring out this fun side of me. It's always really fun to be around you. But there's positivity of like a mature positivity as well. Like,
A grounded positive.
yeah. I think I see so many people that want to be your friend. This sounds really weird. I feel jealous in the sense of like, no, she's my friend. Like, kind of vibe. Because I feel very protective of my friendships. But I think with you, it's like, I feel very fortunate to be called one of your close friends. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of Helen's really good friends. Yes, I'm blessed to call you a good friend, but I feel even more blessed that you call me one of your good friends.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, these are like
Dang.
wedding vows.
Yeah, these are like maid of honor speeches, guys. Thanks, Will. I want to like record that and play that to myself before bed every night now.
Aw, that was actually a really beautiful note to end on, I
Yeah.
think. For this episode, at least.
Yeah. So this episode like brought out a lot more emotion and like deepness to our friendship than we expected, because I think we revealed a lot. We cried. I don't know. I think we share more intimate things. And obviously through this experience, we encourage you guys to do the same with your friends.
Yeah.
Because I think it's nice to get there and be vulnerable with your girlfriends.
Yeah, you don't need to do it 36 questions with a man. You
No.
can do it with your girlfriends.
Yeah.
Just, lock yourself up in a hotel room when it's beautiful out and just, talk through these questions. Thanks, ladies. I feel like these questions work.
Right?
Yeah.
So there are a couple more questions that we didn't hit. We got to maybe about 20 of these. If you want to hear another part of this, let us know and we can record another one for y'all. I think the last ones are actually, they get deep.
They're really
Oh,
deep.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're a little drained right now. So let us know if you do this with your girlfriends. We want to hear about the stories also. And let us know if it works for y'all.
You can email us at asianbossgirl@gmail.com. That's also our website address. And we are on IG and we're all over the different podcasting platforms.
Plot it out.
Spotify, iTunes, all over the place. Leave us a rating and review if you're enjoying what you're hearing.
We like the fives. Fives are great. Yeah.
Also, we're trying out a little something new. It's a segment called Dear ABG. Basically, we'd love if you guys would call in and leave us either questions or things you'd want us to give you advice on, or even if you just have a shout out. So give us a call, leave us a voicemail. You can reach us at 213-262-8776. That's 213-262-8776.
We do also have merch on our website. So if you guys are interested in purchasing a t-shirt for your girlfriends or for yourself, check it out at asianbossgirl.com. Is it /shop?
/shop.
Yeah. So we have a mantra tee. We also are getting requests for speaking engagements. So you guys could also hit us up for that at asianbossgirl@gmail.com.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.